The voice beneath thought. Part 1. Hearing the signal in the static. We are surrounded by noise, the hum of devices, the scroll of opinions, the barrage of tasks, news, questions. Our inner world often becomes an echo chamber of outer chaos. In such a world, hearing your own voice, your true voice, can feel impossible. But beneath the mental chatter and cultural programming, there is a quiet voice. It doesn't shout, it doesn't argue, it waits. It speaks only in presence, in silence, in stillness. This voice is not reactive. It doesn't come from fear or urgency, it emerges from clarity. You've heard it before, perhaps in a moment of solitude or just before sleep, perhaps during a walk in nature when you weren't trying to solve anything, perhaps during grief when all distractions fell away and something deep within you whispered, "This is real, stay here." That is the voice beneath thought, and it is the only voice that belongs to you. Part 2. The mind is not the master. The backward-born often feel betrayed by their minds. Their thoughts race. Their inner critic is sharp. Their intelligence becomes a blade they turn on themselves. But this is only because the mind has been trained to dominate. In reality, the mind is a tool, not a tyrant. It is a beautiful, brilliant servant, but it was never meant to lead. Your truest insights don't come from analysis. They come from awareness, from stillness, from the quiet that remains when you stop trying to fix, figure out, or predict. There is a deeper cognition that lives in your body, in your breath, in your dreams. This cognition doesn't use logic, it uses resonance. It knows what is true not because it makes sense, but because it feels right in your bones. When you ignore this deeper knowing, you feel misaligned. When you follow it, life starts to open, not always easily, but honestly. Part 3. Developing inner listening. Hearing the voice beneath thought requires intention, it requires time, it requires trust, but it's not about trying harder, it's about trying less. Try this. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" ask, "What do I already know that I'm afraid to admit?" Instead of asking, "How can I fix this?" ask, "What would it feel like to sit with this without needing to fix it?" Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this inviting me to hear?" These shifts in questions open space, and in that space, something deeper can arise, a knowing that doesn't come from memory or mental reasoning, a knowing that feels like a drop of truth falling into your body. This is inner listening. And like any listening, it requires quiet. It requires boundaries with noise. It requires stillness, not as inactivity, but as invitation. The backward-born often crave silence because they instinctively know that's where their real voice lives. Not in the crowd, not in the scroll, not in performance, but in presence. Part 4. Voices that are not yours. To hear your own voice, you must learn to recognize the voices that aren't yours, the voices of family, of society, of fear, of performance. These voices are often loud, repetitive, convincing. They say, "Be realistic. Don't disappoint anyone. You're too much. You're not enough." These voices mimic your tone. They sound internal, but they are not you. They are echoes, scripts. They may have served a purpose once to protect you, to help you adapt, but now they only drown out the deeper voice within. Begin to notice them, name them, thank them for their service, and then gently turn down their volume. You will start to notice a space beneath them, and in that space, something quieter, wiser, truer, that is your voice. Part 5. The language of the soul. The voice beneath thought doesn't speak in full sentences. It speaks in sensations, symbols, synchronicities, sudden clarity, gentle inner shifts. It speaks through dreams you can't explain but can't forget, through sudden aversions or longings, through the book that falls off the shelf at the right moment, through the body sensation that tells you yes or no. The backward-born often live between worlds because they are fluent in this language. They may not know how to explain it, but they live it. They feel the truth of it in their bodies, even when their minds can't make sense of it. To live in alignment with this voice is to live with integrity, not in the moral sense, but in the structural sense. To live without splitting yourself, to live without pretending, to live as one whole, listening being. You don't have to explain it to others, you only have to trust it. You were not born to think your way through life. You were born to listen your way through it. To listen not just to words, but to waves, not just to thoughts, but to signals, not just to stories, but to silence. There is a voice beneath your thinking, a wisdom deeper than your worry, a knowing that has been waiting for you to get quiet enough to hear it. Let it rise, let it speak, let it lead.